Hi everybody, and welcome to another video. Today I thought we would discuss bad art or weird art or experimental art, whatever you want to call it. I actually got this idea from this drawing that I actually did just yesterday. I was playing around with some tempera paint sticks, which is what this kind of yellow background is, and my brush pen, which I use to draw some houseplants that we have. And it got me thinking about just playing and, not being afraid of what the final product is gonna look like. So I kind of thought I'd talk about that today, while also making some art. But first, I guess let's define what we're gonna call quote unquote bad art or weird art or whatever. It's basically art that you make that you're not particularly sure of how it looks. Like you think it does, you think it's like not your best work, or you think that it doesn't really show off your ability or anything like that. But I'm here to tell you that it's still perfectly good art. It's still valid art. And the reason you should keep making bad art is because it's what lets you experiment, and it's how you'll find your style and find what you like. And it takes the pressure off, and it allows you to just be free and in the moment. You also have to remember that the art that you're making doesn't have to be for anybody else but you. So feel free to make all the art you want in your sketchbook. You don't have to show your sketchbook to anybody. So don't be afraid of ever, trying something new, or trying a new art supply or a new type of paper or whatever the case may be, because this is actually how you also improve as an artist. One of the things that really bothers me that a lot of people say is that, they're afraid of making bad art, so they're not gonna take it seriously until they get good. Well, you're not gonna become a good artist if you never make art. So the only way for you to get good is to start making bad art. It's, it's kind of just how it works. It's just like anything, really. Like even an instrument, like if you wanna learn how to play the piano, you just have to start practicing the piano. Otherwise, you're never gonna learn how to play. And the first few notes that you're gonna play are gonna sound pretty bad, but eventually it's gonna get better. And so that's kind of the purpose of this video. For today, I thought I would do a drawing of this picture that I found of a person kind of walking down like this little alleyway. And I thought I would do essentially the same thing that I did here, just to kind of show you what I mean. Because this is the first time that I had actually tried something like this. I was actually watching a video on YouTube where the person actually did a wash in watercolor and then just drew over it. So I thought I would do the same thing, but I thought I would use my tempera paints instead, because it's been a while since I played around with my tempera paint sticks. So I just did that, and then I drew the houseplants in a brush pen. So I think we're gonna do that again today, and it's just gonna be fun. It's gonna be loose, and we're just gonna play. So let's get started, and yeah, I'll just keep kind of thinking out loud about all this bad art and weird art stuff. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna lay down this little background in my tempera paint stick. I just picked out this light blue color. If you're gonna do the same thing that I'm doing with kind of like this wash background, feel free to do whatever you want. You can use tempera paint sticks if you have it, use watercolor if you have that. Just be sure to pick a fairly light color so that the ink that you use shows up, unless if you do want to do like a darker color, like an indigo or like a black or something like that. It would actually be pretty cool to use like a white gel pen to do your drawing, or white ink of some kind, because that would actually be a pretty cool contrast. So I'm just gonna lay that down, and there we go. That's gonna be my little wash there. And I'm gonna grab my brush pen, and we're gonna start sketching this scene. So yeah, so like I was mentioning, playing around with materials like this and not being concerned about the result being quote unquote bad or weird. This is how you're gonna find out what you like, the materials that you prefer, the kind of lines that you like to make. So these are some of the reasons why it's important to, to make art and not be worried about the outcome. It's how you get better. So you can't be afraid of, making something that is gonna look bad, because it's the only way that you're gonna learn. So go ahead and make stuff that looks bad. And I mean, what is bad anyway? Like, bad is just, it's kind of like that old adage of how beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Kind of the same thing. Like, I mean, and I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but it's true. I mean, if you look at it from a perspective of like, hey, yeah, okay, maybe this doesn't look exactly how I wanted it to, but you know what? I learned something about perspective, or I see where I messed up on, this person's face, if you happen to be drawing a portrait of somebody. Or, I learned something about color theory today. Like, the colors I mix don't really go well together and they look kind of muddy. So if you look at it from that perspective, you're never gonna make bad art. You're just gonna have lessons that you learn. So don't think of it as bad art, think of it as lessons. And that'll definitely help with your concerns of your art coming out weird, or not being perfect and not being photorealistic or anything. So it's definitely something that I'd recommend you try, and I hope that if you're watching this, you're drawing along, or maybe you're going to be inspired and you'll finish watching this video and then pick up something that you haven't used in a while to make some art, whether it be a marker or even a crayon. I've actually done crayon only sketches. I've made little shorts that you can find on my channel. And are they the best drawings I've done? No, but I like them. I think they came out pretty good, especially for just using a crayon and not using an art supply that I use more often. I think they came out pretty good. So I'd highly recommend that you just kind of get out of your own head. Don't worry about the art that you're making. You don't have to show it to anybody. It's fine. Just make it for you. Have fun. See what you can make with different supplies that you haven't used before, and just grow, because that's how you're going to get better. You're never going to get better by not doing anything. You have to. It's the road that you have to walk. You've got to make those mistakes. You've got to make those bad drawings. You've got to make like those weird sketches, and you have to go through it like everybody does. And the best part is, I guess it is pretty cool. If you're ever worried about becoming a perfect artist, I can tell you right now that's never going to happen, because if you listen or read any interview with any artist that you happen to be a fan of, or you happen to admire their work, I don't think any of them ever said that, oh yeah, I'm where I want to be as an artist. I think they all pretty much say that they're still learning, they're still experimenting with things, they're still trying to find like what works, what doesn't. So I I would use that as kind of comfort in knowing that perfection never comes. So what's important is to just keep at it, because what does happen is creativity compounds. So as long as you keep making, you're naturally going to get better. Again, going back to my example from earlier, like if you're somebody who wants to learn how to play the piano, for example, you got to start playing the piano. There's no way around that. Like you're never going to get good if you don't start. So you have to be bad in order to get good. And then even when you get good, you're still going to find things that you never knew you liked before, you know? So maybe you're someone who eventually starts getting good with, you know, a brush pen, and then, you know, you start working with like watercolor, and you realize that, you know, watercolor is tougher than you thought it would be. And so you work on that, and then you start getting better with watercolor, and it just keeps compounding. So it's something that ends up paying dividends in the end, but you have to make that initial investment. So just get out of your head about it. Don't worry about what the final product is going to look like. Be more concerned about having fun and just experimenting. I mean, that's really all it is. There's no secret. It really is just getting out of your own way and just learning how different art supplies work, how they feel, you know, what kind of textures they produce, what kind of emotions they bring out in you. Like, you know, that's really all it is. And I'm gonna stop talking for a minute because I'm trying to get some of these buildings laid in here. Oh, another tip, when you are doing something like this and you're just, you know, having fun and, you know, just experimenting with things, one of the things I also recommend is to also just draw fast, because that will give your sketch, your painting, whatever the case may be, it'll give it some life and some character, than if you were to be like more diligent, because a lot of times what happens is, I know this happens to me a lot, is I end up overthinking it, and I can't get, you know, the line that I want, or I can't get the texture that I want, or something like that. And then I find that if I just speed it up, yeah, okay, my lines may be a little more wonky. They might be a little more shaky, whatever you want to call it. But I find that the end result is more dynamic and more lively. So I'll take that over, you know, having like a perfectly straight line every single time. So that's another little tip that I thought I'd share, just to kind of help if you are someone who's trying to kind of, you know, experiment and have more fun. And you can see I'm being quite loose with all of my lines here. I'm not going for realism. So you can see that it's getting the feeling down. I'm just playing around with my materials, getting to know them a bit. So it's, again, it's very much just playing around, having fun, and just seeing what comes of it, you know? It's like being a kid, you know? When you were a kid and you made art, you didn't think about all this stuff. You didn't think about what the end product was gonna be. You had fun making art. And that's pretty much all this is. And that's honestly probably the biggest reason why you should continue to make quote unquote bad art. Because if nothing else, it's fun, you know? So go ahead, make some bad art. But I promise you, as long as you get something from it, as long as you learn something, even if all it is just like, hey, that was fun, it's not gonna be bad art. It just won't be. Because as long as you're getting something from it, then it's all worth it. And there we have it. Nice little fun sketch. And again, just a nice little simple wash for the background and then just take a brush pen over it. So again, is it picture perfect? Is it completely accurate to the reference photo? No, but I'm also not trying to be. And it was just about experimenting with the materials, and I actually really liked how this came out. Again, one of the things that inspired me to make this video today was the sketch that I did yesterday, and just being surprised at how something simple as just adding kind of like that big wash of color in the background and then just drawing over that really just made the drawing itself pop, and I thought I'd share that with you today. So just to recap, I mean, don't be afraid of making art. Don't be afraid of using some new art supply or even an old art supply that you haven't used in a while. Just find something to draw, use that art supply, whatever it may be, and just go for it. Because again, you're never gonna get better if you don't start. So everybody who's ever been an artist or made art of any kind, not just drawing, but you know, music, sculpture, whatever, I can promise you that when they started out, everything they made was bad. I can promise you that, because you have to make the bad stuff in order to get good, because you have to find out what materials you enjoy using. You have to, you know, learn how to work with those materials, and the only way you learn is by doing. So stop being afraid of making bad art and just make art. And again, don't think of it as making bad art. Think of it as lessons that you're teaching, or lessons that you're teaching yourself and that you're going to learn from. Because again, that's how you're going to grow as an artist. That's how you're going to get better. And that's how you'll start improving, and, you know, eventually you'll be making the type of art that you want to make. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Be sure to give the video a like. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. I would love for, you know, this community to continue growing. I'm just trying to add some positivity to the world. So please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and go make bad art. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.